Hello and welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new, my name is Olivia, and today's video is the first in a series of videos discussing Rapunzel shapers. Now, it's a series because I couldn't fit all the information into one video without it being extremely long. And that was even before I added in wrapping with the shapers. So I'm going to be splitting it into 4 sections. Today's video is the Bobo. The second video is the Cloud9 and the Uber. The third video is the Classic and the Ultimate, and the fourth video is the Signature and the Wendy. Now, today's video focusing on the Bobo because it's the outlier as far as shape and method of putting it on your head or securing it to your head. So I figured I'd just start off with a bang and go with the Bobo. Now, I like the Bobo. The Bobo is a pretty cool shape. It's not to everybody's liking, and I understand that. Please be respectful. I understand everyone's opinions and experiences are valid, and I respect them. Please respect mine and don't leave me any hate in the comments. Okay, now to get started, I'm gonna be laying out really quickly how I'm going to, how I'm going to be talking about this, the method I'm going to be using. I have it broken down on my sheet because I needed a sheet. I did not want to forget anything when I was going through the stuff about the Bobo. I'm going to be talking about size, small, medium, large, ginormous. I'm going to be talking about the weight because I weighed all of them. I did order fresh shapers except for 2. And then I wanted to get the weight of them fresh from Wrapunzel so that I could share that with you. So that may give you an idea of how much volume or weight you're adding to your head, whether you'd like to purchase that particular one or not. The pros and cons associated with the particular shaper. I'm going to talk about comfort and give you some tips and tricks that I've noticed, or I've from using them, that I've picked up for wearing them, and the different shapes you can get by just changing around just slightly how it's put on the head. And then rep versatility. I'm going to talk about how versatile the shaper is when it comes to the kinds of scarves you can wear comfortably, with the kinds of layering you can do, how many scarves you can wear, kinds of wraps you can do that really look good with each type of shaper. And then depending on the time, I'm hoping this isn't going to be overly long. That was the problem I had before. I'm going to be wrapping this beauty for you at the end. So fingers crossed it will not be super long. Now, I have in my lap my brown Bobo because I have my white Bobo on my head. The blonde one is still stuck under Renaissance Girl back there. I just, yeah, I like the Bobo a lot. So, hi Micah. Micah's gonna probably be in and out of here, so you'll see shenanigans probably with Luna too. But I have the brown one in my lap because I just wanted to have it in my hand when I was explaining things. So here she is. This is what she looks like, our friend the Bobo. Bobo is completely made of velvet with the straps or arms to tie it on. Now, this is a large shaper. This is for major volume. And so that's what I'm considering it, a large shaper. It weighs in at 5.6 ounces or 158 grams. The pros to this particular shaper, start out with, it's made of all velvet. So once you place it on your head, now granted you put it on correctly and the grain of the velvet is going correctly, it will stay on your head indefinitely. This thing, until you are taking this off, it's staying on your head and it's staying put. It's not pushing backwards with the weight of the scarves. It's there. Also, because it's all velvet, it also grabs hold of the scarf, and your scarf is not going anywhere. It's just not moving. It's staying put. And that's really helpful with those really slippery scarves, the silks and the satins and that kind, it's like glue for them. So they hold on tight. With the long ties, this makes for adjustability, great adjustability. It fits larger heads, it fits smaller heads because it just wraps around and the arms come around. I don't tie them, and this is I'm gonna toss this in here. I don't tie it because I don't think tying the knot in the back is as secure as wrapping the arms around the velvet. So you can get a better hold by not tying. So I will show you that later in the video how I do that. The shape is awesome for me. I love the shape. It was different. It's a different shape, and you either love it or you hate it. But it has that nice flatness. But I think with that flatness, it flatters the veil styles, and it makes for really easy driving. Now I'm sitting back and I can put my head back, and when I'm driving, those headrests come up now. I don't understand that, but they come forward at an angle that's a little weird sometimes when you have a big shaper. But with this one, it's easy to just lean back and be good for riding in the car, or just when you're sitting up driving in the car, it's easy. Now I'm going to add in a little bit of advice here, and it may not be as needed as it was when I first started wrapping. When I first started wrapping and wearing shapers and really paying attention on the Wrapunzel page, the Wrapunzel fan page, a lot of ladies found it hard to drive in their shapers. So some people decided to take the headrests off of their car seats and spin them around backwards, or they just take them off. And that's not safe. I have to say that right now. It's not safe to do that. So if you see that kind of behavior, please don't do that. If you see that mentioned, just understand that's not a safe thing to do, removing the headrests. They're there for a reason. And I think I needed to bring that up just in case it's still happening with the larger shapers. It's like, if you're not comfortable driving with your headrest in the appropriate position, you can either don't wear a big shaper while driving, or you can lean your chair back just slightly more to give yourself a little bit more space back here. When I'm wearing my Uber and I'm just running errands around here, I will just lean back the chair just slightly and sit up straight. And that's what works for me. But okay, now that that's done, I just felt like I needed to say it. More pros. It's lighter weight than some of the other, well, it's lighter weight than the Uber. It is a little bit heavier than a Wendy, a fully stuffed Wendy, but it doesn't feel like it when it's on the head because the weight is distributed. It's distributed differently than it is with one of the other shapers. A lot of times the bulk of the shaper is back here and it's hanging off the back of the head, so your head's pulled back, and that's where all the weight is. This one is centered more down. When you have the weight of the wrap is down, so it's going onto the neck, so it's not pulling, and I find that more comfortable, and it doesn't feel as heavy. Now I don't exactly know what the science is to that. I'm not a scientist. I'm not somebody who understands completely why something is, or, you know, I just know that when I tie it on my head, the weight isn't as heavy and it's not pulling my head back, and that it's because it's up here. Somebody smarter than me will know what that is. And I think it's cooler. And you're probably thinking, it's got a lot of velvet. How can that be cooler? Well, the back of the shaper is open, so you don't have extra fluff and stuff insulating your head to keep in all the heat. The heat can escape. Now, I do understand that if it's 98 degrees outside with 85% humidity, everything is hot. But it's less hot than it would be if I were to put on my Uber Pouf and go out with that on. Also, depending on which scarf you put on, it can be, you know, hotter or cooler for you. If you're wearing a lightweight scarf, it's great for summer. If you're wearing a tapestry scarf, you're not going to be comfortable in the really hot weather. So just the things to think about when I'm saying that this is a cooler shaper. It's depending on what you put on it too. This is also really good for longer, thicker hair. Now, it's because it's open, again, it's open in the back. It has a lot more room for expansion, so to speak, in the back. Now, when I'm talking about longer hair, you know, hair to your knees, you can wear it. If you have no hair, you can wear it. If you have really, really super thick or curly hair, totally wear it. If your hair is in dreadlocks, you can totally wear this. There are so many different hairstyles, hair textures, hair thicknesses, hair lengths that will work with this particular style of shaper. Also, if you want to wear a half wrap, this is the one. This will allow you to wear a half wrap with volume. And also, if you don't like to show your hair, you can clip in hair pieces. I picked some up on I think it was Amazon. I picked them up, but just clipped them on so you don't see my hair on the half wrap. You see hair pieces. But if you don't mind showing your hair, totally do that too. So that makes for some great, I think I have some on my channel, some half wraps with the Bobo. And if I remember, I will put the links in the description box. Okay, so I think I've covered a lot of the pros. It's a comfy shaper. Now the cons, we'll start out by saying, like all the Bobo styles that I've seen, this stuffing does not come out of this one. Now for me, that's not a deal breaker. I understand the way it's constructed, and I understand that there's a certain amount of stuffing that needs to be in each channel, and it has to be in a certain position in order for it to hold its shape. Pulling out stuffing and putting it in, you could possibly not get it in the right position, and when it's folded, it gets this one, when I'm folding it, it's nice and rounded, but say the stuffing doesn't get put back in this center section as the way it's supposed to be, it could fold and crease, and you end up with a point in the front instead of a nice, well-rounded shape. I understand that. It's not a deal breaker for me. I just wash it differently. And I also, keeping that in mind, I've also noticed that when I wash it, it doesn't have the same problem as other shapers as far as the stuffing getting lumpy and clumpy and weird. I have to remove the stuffing from the other shapers because I've not successfully been able to wash them and dry them with the stuffing in. And this one I can wash and dry it with the stuffing in. It's not a problem. I do tend to hand wash a lot of my shapers like this. My low bun shapers that I make personally, I wash them by hand, especially the ones with the beading. But I find that I have more control over it when I'm washing them by hand. So these guys I do wash by themselves in the washing machine. But this one, you can wash it in the washing machine on gentle. I don't. I do spot cleaning on the bands here up front because this is the part that gets the dirtiest on the inside and then slightly around the front on the top from my makeup and from sweating. That's what happens. This part touches my hair directly and my skin directly. So I end up spot cleaning a lot, this part, and then hand washing with laundry detergent, laundry soap, and doing a squeeze kind of thing. So that's easy for me, and let it lie flat to dry. You can put it in the sun in between wearings. Don't leave it in the sun for a long period of time because obviously the sun will bleach things out, but putting it to dry in the sun is lovely, and it's something I recommend. Okay, so I've talked about the shape. I love the shape. I think it's really pretty. I think it's flattering. It's useful. Some people really don't like the shape. It's got that flat back, and we're all used to those shapers that are really big and poofy in the back with the pillow. It's like wearing a nice comfy pillow on the back. So going from that really rounded shape to something that just kind of is big volume in the front and nothing in the back is a little, it takes a little bit of time to get adjusted to. Now I kind of think of this like jeans or slacks, trousers, whatever you want to call them. Some people really love wide leg bell bottoms. The bigger the legs, the better. And then there are other people who prefer skinny jeans, and it's all about personal preference. So I happen to like this flat shape. Again, it's really pretty when you're looking at it from the side with a veil style. It's amazing. You get this nice drop off, and I prefer it. I think it's pretty. There is a learning curve to wrapping with the Bobo. Excuse me for 1 second, talking a lot. There's definitely a learning curve to working with the Bobo because of its shape, and it's so different from the others. Some of the techniques that we're used to using for wrapping don't translate perfectly into a Bobo, a Bobo wrap. So it's learning new techniques to wrap favorite wraps. And that takes a bit of practice and a bit of patience and perseverance. Those are my 3 P's. And I try those, I've tried to use those ever since I started wrapping. It's practice, patience, perseverance. And that's what it takes to learn new skills to wrap with this. Now, saying that, I don't want to make it sound too hard to wrap with the Bobo, because it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun learning new techniques. It's a lot of fun to play with it. And once you've mastered it, it's gorgeous. It's absolutely prettiest. Oh, I'm getting off topic. I know I'm gushing about it because I do love it. I do love it. This is my second favorite. Now, Wendy, then this one, when it comes to shapers. Okay, now depending on, we're going to talk about the comfort. I love it. I find it really comfortable. Again, no, not too heavy, not too hot. And I like that on a day when I feel like I need a bit of a more snug fit, a bit of a head hug, I can cinch it a little tighter. And on days that I'm not feeling it and I want it to be looser, I can loosen it up a little bit, and it's still going to stay on my head and it's going to be comfortable. I can wear it across my ears, and I can wear it behind my ears. And that's important because some of the shapers, when I first get them, are really tight, or they're really small for the amount of hair I have. So I can't wear it over my ears. And that makes me, I'm comfortable that way. That's the way I like it. So if it's, so it covers that. Some people don't like them over their ears, or if you wear glasses, that might not be what you want to do, and you can totally wear it behind the ears. I will be showing you in a minute or two when I finish this part, different positions to wear the Bobo to get different looks. I found that if I have it more forward on my forehead, that the height is higher. It's just the volume switches more forward, and it gives me more height and a bigger drop off in the back. If I wear it further back on my head, I get more of a I don't want to say traditional shape, but it gives it more elongated. So looking at it, it's longer than high, that kind of shape. Depending on which position you're going to put your Bobo in, if you want it higher volume, lift your hair up, the bun, you want the hair underneath the frill, and it adds a little bit of extra support to your wrap. And if you have it, if you want it further back and lower, I apologize for that. If you want it further back and lower, is he done? Okay, if you want it further back and lower, then you want to lower your hair. Okay, so this is the Bobo. Now for the wrapping of it, you have these beautiful arms. They crisscross in the back, and I just cinch it to the tightness I want. Mine's not too tight today. And crisscross, and I tuck this one in behind. So I take this guy and I tuck it into the strap, the first strap, and that's it. It's on the head. Now, the different positions, I will show you 3 different positions. The first one is very far forward, like this. I wore this the other day, just like this, and it's over my ears. It's not super tight over my ears. And this is I'm not going to be crazy when it comes to fixing these guys, so I apologize. Since it's open in the back, I am going to put on a scarf so that I can show you the side view. You'll be able to see it better that way anyway. And my pumpkin friend. Okay. Just do a crisscross. And I'm not worried about neatness. It doesn't count on this one. Okay. Doesn't count on this one. But as I'm fixing it. Oh my goodness. All right. There we go. All right. So from the side view, you can see the volume is way up here. And this amount is shortened. The amount going back is shortened before you go up into the volume. I hope that translates well. And then you have this really severe drop off back here. You can see my poof of hair. Now the second position is moved it slightly back. You can also see it goes on down here at an angle, doesn't come straight down. Okay, the second position is at the hairline, like this, and that comes straight down and just leaves the little lobes of my ears so that I can wear earrings. And the first and the second one are wide, looking at them from the front, and high. The third one I found, once you got it back that far on the head, that it was not as wide. I could cinch it in a little bit more. So I'm going to do this again. Try for the same wrap. Crisscross applesauce. Okay. Okay, so as you can see, I hope, come on, don't shift down on me now. From the side, the height is moved from up here to a little bit further back, and the drop off is pretty dramatic, but it's not as dramatic as it was with the volume further forward. And you have a lengthening of this piece here. Okay, now this last tie, I'm going to move it back, the furthest back that I'm comfortable wearing it, which means it's behind my ears. And come up behind my ears. You can tell I've been wearing it for a while. My ears are saying, no, we're good. Okay, so having it here, you can see that it is cinched in on the sides. It's cinched in on the sides, and the height is less. And you have, when I turn sideways after wrapping, you'll be able to see the difference. Now, when I wrap it this far back, I don't bring it up over the tubes. I bring it over the front piece like this. Over the front flat piece, because this also gives it more stability, more grip. Just be careful not to put it too tight. Okay, so fix that. Okay, now wrapping this. Now this is the part where if you pull too tight, you could definitely feel the pressure around here. Tie this on. Crisscross applesauce. And you can see a difference in the shape. This one is hanging more towards the back. And you can see when I was wrapping, they got that really big piece right up at the front with no fighting it. And we're going to turn this. Okay, so what we have here is the longer back, the longer amount of space going back that you can have the scarves lay and still be seen nicely at the front. So you still have the drop off, but the angle of the drop off is not as steep as it was for the first two wraps. Now, if you're comfortable and confident moving it back a little bit further, it will totally stay on because, again, velvet. I personally am not that confident. I'd like to have it further. I'd like to have it further forward. Okay. All right, now I'm going to take this off and I'm going to wrap the wrap that I promised at the beginning because we are under 30 minutes. This shouldn't take too long to do, and I appreciate your feedback on how you thought I did on this particular video. Okay, so for the wrap portion, I am pulling the Bobo back forward to my hairline, or just behind it. And it's over my ears, like so. I'm taking the arms or straps, and I'm going to wrap them around. Wrapping them around the poof. The first tube, poof tube. That sounded awful. The first stuffing channel. Okay, now I'm going to be tying on my friend here, the pumpkin. Soft pashmina. And when I fold the soft pashmina, I want to fold it so that the bottom of the scarf just comes to the bottom of the shaper, just right to here. Okay, no longer, because I need to have the channel easy, the knot channel easy to use, easy to access. So maybe about this much. Let's test it out. I want one long tail, one short tail. Let's see how this works. Okay. Okay, so that's pretty good. Tying the knot so that the short tail comes out at the bottom, long tail at the top. Okay, easy peasy. For the Ukrainian scarf with the extra super tassels, I am going to be folding it over in the traditional method for, in the traditional style for folding this is a square, for folding square scarves. It's just this much. I want a lot hanging in the back. So I'm also going to take it and fold it again, just to make it fit better at the front. And then I'm going to center it on my head. Now, this is a bit of a cheat for me because the motif is, this big motif is straight down the center of my head. Now, I am placing it slightly further back than I want it because it will fall forward. Okay. Now, I've got that placed. If you want to stick a pin here, I think that might be a good idea. Just to keep it from moving forward or side to side. Just be careful not to stab your head or scratch your head. Okay. I'm going to grab the piece in the back, this nice long triangular piece, and pull it to the front like so. I'm grabbing the tails, and this one's going underneath. This one's going over the top. And when I go to the back, I'm going to spin around. It's going to look awkward. I am going to take, instead of tying a knot here, I'm going to take this piece, this tail, and I'm going to take it down through the top of the knot. It's going to take a little bit of finessing to get it through, but it will go. And I'm going to do the opposite for this one. It's going coming from the bottom up through the knot. Just like so. And then I'm grabbing the orange and I'm cinching, and then this is what I'm left with. It's super, super neat, super no pressure points hit for me. It's awesome. Now this may happen where it is loose. I am going to find my tail back here, and I'm going to just pull on it and to make it tighter. Once I get it tight, it doesn't tend to move. So the top one is that side, the bottom one is this side. Okay, so that's what we have. We have a nice, tight, neat front. I can now pull the pin out. It's not necessary. Now I'm going to be dropping the bulk of the scarf back down. And when I tie this on, under with it, the second scarf on top, it frees this guy up to come up without impeding the drape in the back. This one is fine. This one I wanted to have that little bit of a scoop on this side, so that's why it's under here, but also it makes it better for securing in the back, having it underneath coming up, and then this one going in the top and coming down the back. Hope that makes sense. Now for here, I'm just going to be folding in the edges. It doesn't have to be super neat. I just don't want this wonky piece causing me issues. Because the back piece, when we're tying it on, the back piece, that's around the back, that's down here, is always longer than the bit that's around here, the edge that comes around the top. And sometimes it gets really wonky. Now I'm going to be bringing this up. This is just like a headband. When I tied it on the first time, it was just a straight across. And then I found that it was just too bulky, all bubbled up and all right here. So I ended up spreading it out. And if some of the pleats happen to form, kind of cool. And I brought it down at an angle forward to give me that kind of angular piece in the front, so you get more on this side of the flowers, less on this side. I'm going to bring up and beginner's luck. Nothing special. Okay, now for this piece, it's going to get tucked across. It can be flattened out. And tucked in. All the fringes just tucked in like so. And I'm again expanding this piece to cover the top of the frill of the last stuffing channel, just like so. If you wanted more crinkles, more pleats, just fold in less and it'll crinkle up more. But this is looking good for me right now. I have this piece hanging here. It's kind of nice. Okay. Make sure it's opened up a bit. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to put in this flexi clip that I wore earlier. This one was sent to me in PR from Tammy Henneman. This is a Lila Rose clip. This is the smaller one, but I think it goes good with this particular wrap. So I'm going to put from the bottom towards the top, just in the knot here. And then bring up this piece and make sure it's clipped. Works awesomely. Okay, I'm gonna move that up a little bit. And that is today's wrap. Let me do the way I wore it earlier, was over my shoulder here, all the fringes and stuff. Totally digging it. Okay, so I'm gonna spin around. You can see the back. And then I'll do the same for this side. And spin. All right, well, I hope you found this Bobo tutorial helpful. It answered some of your questions. Maybe if you were on the fence about getting it, maybe this swayed you one way or the other. Please let me know in the comments what your thoughts are and any suggestions for the future videos. They should be out Sunday. Might be able to do it Monday and Tuesday or Wednesday. So these all should be out within the next week, is what I'm getting at. So let me know, and I will see you in the next tutorial.